Alright, here we are in Capture One Pro 9, and here's how you can save 10%. You just use the discount voucher code AMBCraig on checkout, so that's AMBCRAIG. Alright, let's get started on dodging and burning. Alright, so for dodging and burning, you use what they call local adjustment layers. Now we can do all kinds of things with these local adjustment layers. I'm just going to focus on how to dodge and burn in Capture One Pro 9 right now. So what I'm going to do is come up here to the plus sign and create a new layer. Now I can call this dodge. I'll just give it a D just to keep things simple. That's going to be our dodge layer. Now here's our brush tool. I've selected that. And you can see you can draw a mask, you have an erase mask, a gradient mask. I've got it set only display mask when drawing. So while I'm drawing, I can see the mask. It'll be a pinkish type color. Now if I right click, here are my brush settings. You can see my size of my brush. I can adjust that by sliding back and forth. You can see my brush getting bigger. I can also use my bracket keys, so you can see my brush is getting smaller and my brush is getting bigger. So I'm going to right click on that. Now I have my hardness set to 0. I have my opacity set to 100, and I have my flow to 2, and then I have all of these unchecked. So now I'm on this layer. So to see anything happening, if I want to dodge, I can just raise this exposure slider. So this will brighten areas. And let's just go a little bit overboard so we can see what's happening. And then I can always back off the exposure layer. So to zoom in, I can hit Command plus on my keyboard on the Mac. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight some areas of the hair. So this is a raw image I'm working on. So I'll just zoom out a little bit more. So what I like to do is I like to add the highlights where there already are highlights. So you can see here we have a highlight here. And I'm adjusting my brush with the bracket key. Now I'm just going to just highlight this area a little bit here, and you can see we've got our mask starting to build up. And then I'll add a little highlight here on that side, and then I'll just sort of drag this down. So using the space bar, I can move this image around. So I'm just looking for natural highlights where they're falling, and I'm just going to enhance those a little bit here. And I'm just building this up slowly, and then again just using the space bar. And I'm just drawing in these areas here. And you can see as I draw, the mask shows up, and then when I stop, it disappears. So I'm just going to continue to add a little bit more highlights here. And then I can control the intensity with my exposure slider. All right, so I'll just draw in a little bit more just so you get an idea. A little bit more there. And that should be good there. All right, so I'm going to zoom out just a touch. Now, I think I've gone a little bit overboard here on the slider. So what I can do is I can back this exposure slider off. So I'm just going to back this off to something a little bit more reasonable. So now we're just a little bit close to one stop above what we shot this at. Now if I uncheck this dodge layer, you'll see the effect come off of the image. So that is before the dodging. And then as I click here, you can see that is after. So you have a lot of control as far as how much opacity and flow you want to use, and your settings over here, and you can create multiple local adjustment layers. So if I wanted to dodge another area differently, I would just create another one. If I wanted to burn, I would just create another layer, and then I would just remove the exposure. So anyway, I hope you found these tips helpful for Capture One Pro 9. Don't forget to use the discount voucher code AMBCraig. And if you found this video helpful, you should check out my site called shutterslam.com, where I have over 80 in-depth, step-by-step video training tutorials. It's called shutterslam.com, and I'll put a link below in the description box where you can find out more about that. All right, I'll see you in the next video.